Alright, so for the past 2 days, we have been learning about different uses of commas. Now, who can remind us what a comma is? Correct. Commas are punctuation marks that indicate a pause in a sentence. And does anyone remember why we use commas? Or does anyone know why we use commas? Yeah, we use commas to pause in a sentence, but we also use them to clarify meaning and to organize lists and thoughts. You remember when we learned about adding a comma after every item in a list, just to make it have more rhythm, to make it more clear. Well, today we're going to learn 3 more uses for commas. So you guys are going to be comma experts after today. Now, the first way to use commas is when you are telling someone yes or no in a sentence. For example, when one of you guys asks me to go to the bathroom, I would say either yes, you may go to the bathroom, or no, you may not go to the bathroom. Now, you can hear the pause in my voice after yes or no in both of those sentences. That's where you would place a comma after the words yes or no. Using commas in this way helps clarify the meaning of the sentence by explaining what you are saying yes or no to. So, for instance, if someone was to ask me, may I go to the park after the football game? I would say, yes, you may go to the park, or no, you may not go to the park. Now, at this point, I would have sentences on a board illustrating the comma rules, but I obviously don't have a board. So the second way to use commas is when setting off a tag question from the rest of a sentence. Now, a tag question is something like, isn't it, or doesn't he? It's a question you would add to the end of a sentence to help clarify what you're saying. So it would be something like, Josh really loves skateboarding, doesn't he? Now, in this sentence, you would add the comma right after skateboarding. You would use the comma to separate the tag question from the rest of the sentence. So, he really loves skateboarding, comma, doesn't he? I'm using the tag question to make sure that he really does love skateboarding. All right. Now, the second question would be, that's your bag, isn't it? The same thing. Isn't it is the tag question. Now, you're going to use the comma to separate that's your bag from isn't it. You're just making sure that that is their bag. But it gives it rhythm. It gives it the opportunity to become a question. And the tag question is almost always going to be at the end, so that will definitely give you a tip for when you need to add your own. Now, the third way to use commas is to indicate you are directly addressing someone. For instance, is that you, Steve? Now, in that sentence, I am asking Steve if that is him. I'm directly addressing Steve. Now, the reason I know where to put the comma is the name Steve. I'm directly addressing Steve. And the third way you use commas is to separate or to indicate that you're directly addressing someone. So I would say, is that you, comma, Steve? The same thing with, like, let's go to the store, Dad. Let's go to the store, comma, Dad. I'm addressing Dad. The way that you'll know how to use commas in this sentence is it's always going to be a name or a title. You're going to directly address a person by their name or by their title, and the comma is always going to set off the name from the rest of the sentence. Because I could be asking, is that you, to anybody, but the comma helps me clarify that I'm asking Steve. Is that you, Steve? Now it can go either way too. It could be Steve, comma, is that you? You just have to remember that. A good example of this is, have you guys ever seen those shirts or something on the internet? It's really funny. It says kind of like this. It says, let's eat grandma, which in that sentence, you're just saying, let's eat our grandmother. But then in the second sentence, let's eat, comma, grandma, you're telling your grandmother it's time to eat. Now that comma, where you're directly addressing your grandmother about dinner time, that just saved her life. So it helps to clarify the meaning of the sentence, the commas. All right, now I would normally have these on a document projector, these pictures, so you might not be able to see them as well. So now we're just going to go over a couple examples before you guys start doing your worksheet. Now in these examples, you have sentences that have no commas in them. So we're going to use our rules that we just learned to add the commas to the sentences. So the first sentence, no, I've never heard of it. So what word in that sentence indicates where you would put a comma? Right, it's no. So according to our first rule, where we put commas after the word yes or no, I would say, no, comma, I've never heard of it. Now the second sentence, yes, that is correct. Now again, what word indicates where you need to put the comma? Right, yes. So where would I put the comma in that sentence? After which word? Yes, it's yes. So you would write yes, comma, that is correct. Now for the third sentence, the pizza is delicious, isn't it? Now, who can tell me what word or phrase in that sentence indicates where you would need to put a comma? Right, it's a phrase, it's isn't it. So in this sentence, you would say, the pizza is delicious, comma, isn't it? You're setting off a tag question, because isn't it is a tag question. You're setting it off from the rest of the sentence. Now, same thing with the next sentence. Sean is lucky, isn't he? Now, again, what phrase sticks out at you that indicates where you need to put the comma? Right, it's isn't he. So you would say, Sean is lucky, comma, isn't he? Because again, that is a tag question. You're setting off a tag question from the rest of the sentence. Now, the third example, I had to edit this one a little bit because I forgot to capitalize a word, and that is a big deal. We need to remember that we need to capitalize everything. So for this sentence, let's go to the zoo, Mom. Now, what word indicates that this sentence needs a comma? Right, it's Mom. So you're directly addressing your mom in this sentence. So where would you put the comma? You'd put it right before Mom, right? Let's go to the zoo, comma, Mom. You're saying, let's go to the zoo, Mom. Now the last one. Are you listening to me, Steve? Now, am I directly addressing anyone in the sentence? Right, I'm directly addressing Steve. So where would I put the comma in this sentence? let's say, are you listening to me, comma, Steve. I'm asking Steve if he's listening to me. I'm directly addressing Steve. Right, so do we have any questions on any of those? No? Okay. So in front of you, you have your comma worksheet. Now I'm going to leave the sample questions up on the board so you have them as reference. 3 comma rules is a little bit a lot, but I know you guys can do it. So this is the same thing. You have 15 questions 15 sentences, I should say, that don't have any commas in them. And you're just going to add the commas right where you think that they should be. They're going to be using all 3 of the different rules that we just learned. And I'll come around. If you guys have questions, I'll help you out. So you guys can start working on that.